Yeah, California Market's on Western.
That's right. That's right.
This is farther east on Olympic. Like a shopping center, but looked to be. I don't know. I could probably just look it up.
We are live. Still waiting for confirmation from the chat that it has started.
Oh, let me go to the chat.
It switched. We're good.
Yay, chatters!
If I could inquire any of the mods in chat to reset Showbot for me, please.
Reset.
If y'all saw my Henlo, then I'm live too. Yay!
Hi, everybody.
Hi, y'all.
What is up?
Welcome to April 22nd.
Wow.
Well, if you're already here, you've been living it already. Some of you on the 23rd, in fact.
Oh,
Thank you, Zoe.
Goodness.
Thanks, Zoe.
Last week I got to meet Zoe.
You did? That's right.
Absolutely wonderful person. Yeah, there's a couple of them. Nick with the C. We had a whole UK regiment there. That it was all nice to meet him.
Oh, that's nice.
BioCal couldn't make it. He had worked in Dallas, so he was really close. But and my wife. So Zoe has actually sat down and chatted with my wife for a while. My wife makes a great anchor at events because she doesn't like to move around and stuff. But if you want to leave something there, like she's the perfect person to leave it with because she's sitting there and she had her little battery operated fan. She was hot.
Aww.
That's cute. I like that. She's like, this is my table. Feel free to leave things of value with me. Yep. I will be here when you get back.
Yeah, my daughter checks in every once in a while.
I feel that way sometimes, and especially when there are a lot of people at an event.
Yeah,
where I'm like,
I don't like
I'm just gonna pop a squat, and
I always feel bad because anytime I go to an event, I will volunteer to photograph the event, and then that takes away from time that I can actually spend. Socializing. Nick with the C says, thank you for the chiggers advice. I figured they didn't have chiggers in the UK, so I gave them some advice on how to get rid of them. And Web Magic, I'm not going to Vegas. I might try to hit Vegas next year, but it did not work out this year because I'd already planned on going to the Founders Day picnic.
Well, besides the fact that my hair is a little crazy from putting all sorts of things on my face earlier today, I'm ready whenever we are. We want to maybe go till 2:10 just in case people are still coming on in, or
what's going on, everybody? Everybody's just kind of sliding into our show after the last. Let's see here. Happy Monday to everybody.
Yeah.
Spatial audio. How does it sound better or not? Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. We should do a whole thing about spatial audio. We did a little, we talked a little bit about it.
I feel like you have more issues with it than I do. But
I do.
Again,
but
it does depend on the material. Yeah.
Now that I have these, I need to listen to more spatial audio music.
I got to tell you. So I live... let's see, 1, 2, 3 blocks away from a pretty big middle school, like a 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I think it is. So there are a lot of middle school kids who, on my walk in the morning with the dog, I see them going to school. In the afternoon, if we're out and about, I see all the kids, going back home after school. So you get a lot of intel on, kid fashion. What do the mid-schoolers wear these days? And they all wear over-the-ear headphones. I mean, not every single one, but you don't get a lot of in-ear earbuds. It's like, this is like a whole, maybe it's kind of like I don't know, an angst at a certain age where you're just like, shut out the world, man. I don't know. Maybe that's how I would have felt at that age.
I'm not listening to you. Can you see?
And the, variety of colors and, it's all kind of part of the style.
For my kids, it's a matter of if you're wearing in-ear headphones, then people still try to talk to you because they don't see the in-ear headphones. But if you're wearing over-the-ear headphones,
with AirPods, it's pretty obvious. But I get that. That.
If you have hair and stuff like that, then exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's why my children, my adult children, it's weird saying that. That's why they prefer and have preferred wearing
adultrin. Adultrin.
But that's a good we don't plan to talk about spatial audio today, but that's a good full topic.
Yeah, I mean,
we've been meaning to do that, and you're right, Sarah. I probably have more issues, but I also need to revisit music with these now, just as let's just see, I'm gonna just put that in my notes. Spatial.
All right, it's 10 after. I'm going to disappear, and Sarah, whenever you want to count in, I will pop us on.
Sounds good. Eileen, you all set?
I'm good. Yeah, let's rock it.
All right, let's rock and roll. Shake and bake.
Okay, and I'll disappear when I'm ready. How's that? That'll be your cue.
Yeah.
To make sure that I have. Okay, I'm there. All right. Let's do
it. I love it when I can see sunlight outside of Amos's lair. Sometimes there is none, depending on the time of year. We're getting there. All right. I will go ahead and count myself in Apple Vision Show episode 12 in 3, 2. Eileen Rivera, how the heck are you?
I am doing well today, Sarah Lane. It is a wonderful Monday. I can say that as it was not last Monday, but today I feel good. It's still a Monday though. It's still a Monday. When I feel a little more sluggish on a Monday compared to like Wednesday, when you've like ramped up the week. But I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing well too. I agree with you. Mondays are historically difficult re-entry days, as I like to call them. But I had a pretty mellow weekend. Did a bunch of stuff, kind of outdoorsy, real nice weather. But I was tucked in pretty early last night. So I woke up this Monday morning going, all right, let's crank her out. And our Apple Vision Show episode 12 being one of those things, but the thing I look forward to most on Mondays.
Yes, absolutely. Our chats about Apple and whatever the heck is related. Because there's a lot.
Yeah. For anybody saying, oh, is Apple Vision Show more than just about the Apple Vision Pro? The answer is yes. Now, we thought we were so clever when we chose the show title. It apparently has confused a few folks, thinking it was a little bit more focused than it is. But we do cover the Vision Pro. I have one on my desk right now, and we are going to be talking about it a little bit in the show. But just to reiterate, we talk about all things Apple, even including Apple rivals, what Apple isn't doing well that we would like it to do better in the future. Just kind of an overall lifestyle show.
Yeah. 100%. So don't think that, we're not going to be talking about the iPhone. We'll be talking about those glorious new iPads, whatever the rumors are. We're going to be talking about some of the rumors and speculate. And, once things are out and about, we'll be talking about those products as well. So, just send us any questions you may have about anything, because it's all Apple all the time. It doesn't have to be just about the Vision Pro. But like Sarah said, we will talk about a little bit about it today. I think I'm feeling better about this week. I think just because I'm getting used to spring, Sarah. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like there's more light out. Yeah. Longer in the day, and I don't know. We're just out of the winter.
Doldrums.
Yeah. I was gonna try and think of a different word, but yeah.
Well, yesterday, you and Tom, your other half. I was about to say better half, and I'm like, don't say that to Eileen. Your other half. You guys dropped by yesterday, and before you did that, I had gone on a hike with my dog in this neighborhood of LA that I used to live adjacent to. I mean, I basically was sort of at the outer gate of an entry to this really nice hike. Did it all the time. It's a little harder for me to do that now. But when planned well, for example, early on a weekend day.
Yeah.
You get there early, not a lot of people there. It's not too hot yet. Boy, was it beautiful. Just wildflowers and joggers, other people with dogs. I had my dog as well. And I was just like, man, this is adorable. Now, I should have worn sunscreen because it wasn't like that hot, but it was like full sun. And of course I get home and now I'm like, oh, great tan lines, Sarah. Way to go. But just a good reminder that, yes, we're back into sunny weather again.
Yeah. You're used to like, oh, it's cloudy, it's dark, probably, just walk out or whatever. And it's like, oh, wait, now the sun's in full, like, hello, I'm back.
I mean, even in LA where people go, eye roll, like, how bad is it ever? Not that, it doesn't snow here. It's not that cold.
Right. No.
We do get, a fair amount of rain over the winter months, even though not even close to other places. But even then, you do get these sunny days, these, real pretty sunny days, but it's that winter light. It's just different. It's nice. It's, you still get the vitamin D, but it's just different. I felt like yesterday for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, we're getting there.
Here we're go.
Getting there. Things are alive again.
And then we're going to be all complaining.
Including my skin, which will burn if I don't wear sunscreen. So.
But yeah, no, Tom and I did drop by. So I have officially seen that bookcase behind you. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. For those of you watching on video, sorry if you're listening on audio, but Sarah has these beautiful bookcase behind her. And I was like, there it is, the legendary bookcase.
I know, it was so funny. Tom, too, because of course, my co-host on Daily Tech News Show, he like, the first thing he did is like go behind my ring light and look and be like, yeah. That's the shot. That's what I see. Now I get it. Because there's like another, couple of walls in the room that nobody else ever sees, including all sorts of, fun stuff I have.
Fun stuff. That's right. That's right.
What are we talking about today? Well, speaking of fun stuff to talk about, maybe we get a couple of news items out of the way. Apple pulled WhatsApp and Threads from its app store in China. This is part of an ongoing effort by the Chinese government to not allow any app stores to carry apps that China deems in violation of its government rules. Facebook has been banned in China for quite some time. The fact that Threads is now banned from China, not a surprise. Somewhat curious that it took so long, considering that they're both owned by Meta, parent company. WhatsApp, obviously, also a Meta company. But I don't know, Eileen, there are workarounds, obviously. On mobile devices, there are also workarounds, but I think it's a little bit more difficult if you're in China itself. But the Chinese market has been sort of a tough nut to crack for Apple for some time. It sold a ton of iPhones in China once iPhones were available in the country, and has had somewhat diminishing returns over the last couple of quarters.
I feel like there's obviously tension between both countries, U.S. and China, and now on the flip side, we may not have TikTok at some point. That's a whole other conversation that we're not going to get into today. But I am surprised that it took this long for Threads. Maybe they thought that Threads was not a threat for a long time, or just dismissed it as like, an emerging app. But now that maybe they think it's getting some steam. More people. I hear more people are using it. Over X. And so it's a lot of, and also in China, they use Weibo. There's a lot of, apps that are stronger. But, I don't know. I mean, I just continue to watch this kind of play out. I don't live in China, so I don't know, what their apps are like compared to the apps that are now banned, and if it's necessary. But at the same time, it's communication that's being thwarted in a way, and on both sides of the fence, so I don't want to like shoot any fingers or blame or anything like this, but it's just sort of I don't know.
Don't shoot fingers. I mean, we need all 10.
Shoot. What? How is it? Sometimes I say these weird
point
things.
Fingers.
Point fingers. Thank
point
you.
Fingers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
assign blame. Yeah. I also, where WhatsApp for many of my friends who are not US centric, some people who are US centric do prefer WhatsApp, but pretty much all of my friends who live in, various parts of Europe, South America, African countries, all use WhatsApp exclusively.
Yeah.
To the point where they're like, who's using iMessage? And it's like, like everyone I know, that's why we're still having green bubble, conversations. But in China, it's WeChat. So it's not WhatsApp, although you couldn't, it's going to be harder to use WhatsApp at this point there. But part of me is sort of like, okay, well, if it's kind of a principle thing, China saying, hey, you violate what we deem to be, safe apps for the Chinese population, you're out of here. I don't think WhatsApp is a huge threat in China. China's got WeChat. WeChat is the super app of super apps.
Right.
For anybody who's not familiar, it kind of set the standard for an app that you go into and do a variety of things. You chat, you pay for things, you have a social network. You can, buy stuff on, the equivalent to Amazon. I mean, it is truly designed to be the app that does everything for you. For better, for worse. For better, for worse. Some people don't like that idea. Other people say, this is great. It's like just the internet in one place.
In South Korea, it's KakaoTalk. So most people, you use it for maps. There's many other apps you could also use, but you use it for maps. You use it to pay. You use it for transportation, taxis. Like we downloaded KakaoTalk just as a companion to other apps, just to get by. But
because you were in South Korea last summer?
Last September. Sometimes, making reservations, you need to use KakaoTalk. At a restaurant, some places request that. So there are, depending on the country, sometimes the dominant app. In fact, KakaoTalk went down and it one day, and it really affected the entire country on that day. It was like nobody could get cabs, nobody could talk to anybody online because everybody in South Korea uses that app. So I imagine that's the same with WeChat. That's just the dominant way.
And I guess that's one of the downsides of having the all-in-one app, right? If for some reason that platform goes down, even for 5 minutes, you're all of a sudden inconveniencing at, the very least, a large swath of people who depend on it.
Yeah. Like I think there was a tower. I don't know if I'm exactly remembering correctly, but there was a tower that went down. It was like hours. So people could not do anything for several hours. And it kind of like put everything on pause in Korea on that day. So yeah, I don't I think about it. It's like, gosh, is there one app? No, not here. Cause use, Lyft or Uber app for, and then we've got our phone, then we've got our text message. Everything is sort of like, a la carte.
Everything's very siloed. And you get folks going, but why do you like it that way? And then you have other folks saying, I like choice. I like to do my specific thing in the app that is deemed, that's how I get my taxi. That's how I ordered, dinner if I'm not going out. That's how I pay for something. And there's no real right or wrong. I think you're probably going to have more convenience in the all-in-one experience, but at the same time, that puts a company in a lot of control of your stuff.
Exactly. I do wish I had it for transportation a little bit easier, like pay, use, but I drive a lot. So that's the plight of the US, right? We're driving anyway. So
I actually, last week, it was after we did our show last week, but I thought, remember to mention this. So I'm glad I'm remembering. I was going to dinner not too far away from here. But I was meeting a friend, and it was kind of like a wine bar, so I thought, maybe we'll drink some wine. Maybe I should get an Uber, just kind of, I don't have to park. I've never been to this restaurant before. Maybe parking's weird. Maybe you have to valet. I don't know. And at the last minute I was like, I'll just drive. It's fine. I'm not going to go crazy. It was like a Wednesday, at 6 p.m. We weren't going ham at all. But I thought about it and I was like, just easier to drive. Now, not everybody has that luxury. And there are certain situations where, maybe you're in a group, maybe you are going to imbibe, and it's just way safer to not have a vehicle on you. All sorts of reasons to do that. I haven't taken a Uber / equivalent Lyft, whatever. I don't even think I've done that since I've lived back in LA, Eileen.
Really?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember.
I think that when we've done it is like instead of leaving our car at the airport for several days, because sometimes you do the check, you're like, is it cheaper for the Uber or is it cheaper to leave at
you kind of do the long-term parking comparison,
or are we too lazy to do the long-term and short-term is just too expensive? Then we might just hop in, or are we just like don't want to deal? It's like 3 a.m. and definitely. But I'm trying to think of another time I have needed to use it, and no, I mean, for me in Los Angeles, I generally drive unless it's been forever. I'm trying to think of a situation where, I drove in with a friend and then I wanted to leave early, so I took a Uber home, but it's not, I don't know. Yeah. I think it's also,
it probably says a little something about us.
I know. It says a little bit.
We don't really party, so we just sort of drive to dinner and then drive home, go to bed.
I was about to say, I'm generally at home anyway, so I don't really go out anymore, kids, so.
Actually, okay. I remember one Uber situation. Okay. This was early January, so still not that recently. Okay. It was a friend's birthday party. I was carpooling with somebody and they said, hey, should we just take an Uber? And I was like, up to you. I mean, if you want to, I mean, or let me know. So we did take an Uber to and from the party, which was great because it was sort of credit. But yeah, depending on lifestyle, parking options, whether or not you have a car, it's good to have the options running the gamut. That's what I like to say.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, Eileen, this is not Apple news. It's Apple adjacent news, especially because we haven't talked about the Vision Pro in a serious capacity on the show in a couple of episodes now, just because we've been talking about other stuff. But this was interesting news this morning. Meta announced that its OS, which is Horizon OS now, but is going to be called Horizon Meta going forward, will become an open source OS to third parties. Meta says that Lenovo, Asus, and Microsoft are all on board to create their own versions of the Horizon Meta Horizon OS, meaning that if you own a Meta Quest, for example, well, that's Meta's version of hardware that you would own. But the ecosystem can also benefit from third-party OEMs, manufacturers making their own stuff. So that's kind of fun, I think.
Well, we're going to see more people out there with headsets, right? Because I would assume some of these are going to be a lot cheaper than the Vision Pro. And just
very much cheaper, and maybe even cheaper than what we got going on with, I mean, Meta just slashed its price for the Quest 2, which is now $199, down from $249, which is down from $299 just at the first of this year. Totally different price bracket.
Well, and there's also brand loyalty. There's going to be some people that just want to buy the Google product or the Samsung product or, or the Sony, whatever, you know what I mean? Or the Lenovo product. So I feel like, or, maybe you're in that ecosystem of products and phone. And so you want it to match your current experience. So I don't know. I'm gonna envision people on the train with these. I'm just like, I'm envisioning like, okay, now we've got this opening up. what do you think? 5 years? It's just going to be an average thing in the house. I feel like it. I don't know.
I mean, I was so, I don't want to say anti VR, but I was just not interested in VR for years, honestly.
But if it was like $150, like, would you?
Well,
like,
even then, it was like I needed some killer app because I was like, I'm not a gamer really in any capacity. I mean, I play some mobile games, but you know, it's very dabbly, you know. I'm you know, killing time at the airport type thing.
Yeah.
I really just don't play a lot of games. I mean, unless you're talking about Duolingo, which arguably is one, but
is a game. Yeah.
yeah. But when it was still the okay, Oculus Quest before it was MetaQuest. I tried some workout games for the first time. I know I'm a broken record for anybody who's been listening to me talk about VR for the last few years.
Here she goes talking about a workout.
That was my killer work. I was awesome. Like, oh, this is amazing. Love it. Yeah. In fact, hold on.
Okay. We're going to get an example workout from Sarah.
Not an example workout because I'm not doing that to you or me. But this is my Quest 2. I've got an original Quest. I also have a Quest Pro behind me. But the Quest 2 is kind of my workout app. Now, there are a variety of reasons why I think that the Quest 2, and I'm not even talking about, what Lenovo and Microsoft and Asus might offer down the road, just knowing what I can do with this guy. Now, this is a nice piece of hardware. It really is. Now, it can't even sort of compare to the visuals on the Vision Pro, which I'm holding up now for anybody who's listening to this. I'm doing sort of a show and tell type thing. Holding the Vision Pro right now. The Vision Pro in every single way is a superior, has superior body fit, the components, the sensors, the cameras, everything. They're really apples and oranges. You can't compare the two. Yeah, also, there's a huge price point difference. You're talking $3,500 versus $199 for the Quest 2. No, there is a Quest 3, which is, I believe, still $399. So, I'm not on the latest model, but the Quest 3, the Quest 2 is what I wear when I work out for 30 to 45 minutes, and I'm talking sweat. It's Sweat City, Eileen. I mean, just all down my face.
Wow.
It's the eye area is getting fogged up. I mean, it's a good workout. I would never do that with the Vision Pro, even if it was allowed. I'd be like, no way. It's too precious. It's not for
it's too
that.
Heavy though, isn't it? It's still too heavy to do that. You can't move as well, is what I'm, assuming, because I haven't tried the Meta Quest. The Meta Quest 3 is $500 right now. So at least on the Meta website. So.
Yeah. $499. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. So, they're somewhat indistinguishable weight-wise, but they feel very different when you're wearing them.
Interesting.
The Vision Pro, all of the weight is on the front. And I think that's why you get a lot of people going like, it just felt really heavy. It's like, well, does your neck hurt? It's like, nah, I mean, maybe it does. But I think a lot of folks say it just feels kind of like it's pulling your the front of your face down.
Yes, that's exactly how I felt. And it felt like,
which is a weird feeling,
smashing on my forehead. Like my forehead was getting a little tight in the middle here. And it was just uncomfortable, after a while. Like at the beginning, it's fine. But after almost an hour, I was like, okay, I think I got to take this off. But,
Yeah. And I feel like the Quest, which is really it's the only thing I can compare the Vision Pro to, even though, again, I feel like they're just very different products that do different things. Different markets. They're not direct competitors at all. But if I must, the Quest, I pull this guy off, clean it, wipe it down, do some, handy wipe type stuff after sweating all over it. Because a lot of people, there are like whole subreddits devoted to like cleaning your Quest, because you're using it for exercise type thing. With the Vision Pro, we're still in those early days of like, this is so cool, but what is it for?
Yeah, it feels like they didn't design it for movement yet. I mean, like small movement maybe, but it's more of a sedentary device, right? It's more of like you sit down and you may do some gaming that could move, but it's productivity, it's communication and entertainment, I guess, at this point.
Definitely entertainment consumption. I will admit that for a couple weeks there, I'd be like, maybe after a long day, maybe I went on a jog, whatever. It's like, I'd like to lay flat on my couch, like head up and watch something. Well, I can't really do that on my couch because I'd have to, have my head, cranked all the way to the right to see my television or just sit differently. But that idea of not even in bed, because I don't consume a lot of content when I'm in the bedroom, but I could. I could lay on the floor if I wanted to. That feeling of like, oh, I can watch something that's going to be the resolution will be pretty good, and the audio feels pretty immersive, and I could be anywhere. I mean, obviously you want to be somewhere safe.
Yes, of course.
Probably don't want to do this, on the sidewalk outside, but you kind of could be anywhere. Yeah. And that, I thought that was, Lamar Wilson, I don't know if he said the same thing when he joined us on our show, but in his initial review of the Vision Pro, it was the same thing. He was like, this is just a great way to watch a movie.
Yeah.
It's just great, And, as a person who wears earplugs and an eye mask when I sleep, like I like immersive stuff. Not everybody likes that.
That's true.
So that's something to consider. Some people really, that rubs them the wrong way. I love it.
Yeah, I feel like it just is something to get used to. I mean, as someone who has used the device, it's honestly a decent experience. There's nothing. It's actually, I feel almost childlike, like, ooh, I'm discovering something new, and it's presented in a beautiful, it looks gorgeous. Even email, how do they make email look gorgeous? It's just nicely set. You can have it.
If only email contents were gorgeous, we'd be in business. I know.
If only comments were gorgeous. No, but the experience in itself is pretty. I'm just going to go ahead and use the word classy. It's, it's if you want it to be, like, you can put a bunch of garbage behind there as your backdrop if you want, but it is a very nice experience. When you were talking, I was envisioning, how like we're always on our phone and it's always like this, and we're looking down or whatever, but when if you're using the Vision Pro, you're looking up, so you don't get the tech neck. You know what I mean? You don't get the like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh, I've got it bad.
I got it too, because I've been looking down a bit. I'm like, let me put that firming cream on now, But, and as you're talking about laying down, I'm trying not to stay away from the mic, but laying down and watching, like, that's good. Elongate that neck. Look up, I think that's a positive thing, right? I don't know. I'm just thinking about like use cases at physicality reasons why that could be, good for you, instead of constantly looking down or,
well, and we're still, there's still all of the YouTube videos. I've tried, I've gone down a bit of a rabbit hole, just being like,
oh, really?
People, people's first impressions wearing the Vision Pro in public. And, one of the things that is possible, I mean, it kind of depends on what you're doing, but it's 100% possible to wear. I can put this on, we've talked about this before, walk down the street, walk my dog, I see everything that's happening. I mean, there's sort of an AR layer. It's not exactly the same as not having anything, on my face at all, but 100% can be in public, can do things. I can go grocery shopping, blah, blah, blah. But people don't see that.
Yeah.
People think you are just, you're, like a wayward, weird robot person. And so that's where you get these weird interactions where it's like, at some point, I think, especially with other, again, third-party headset makers entering the scene, entering the chat, as it were, I think we're going to get into a situation where we see more and more folks who are wearing this in various capacities in public.
Yeah.
Not just, in their living room or their home gym or,
it's probably
laying
going to be
on the floor in my house watching a movie.
Well,
You're going to get more of this being a normalized thing.
Thinking about the gym experience, maybe there's a lot more of these units in the gym and people are using them for actual workouts in the gym, like at home, like you can have the bike, you can have whatever, but like, what if these, headsets are like, can you imagine a class? Everybody's using them.
Actually, no, they exist already.
Do they exist already?
Oh yeah.
Like
no,
actual
they do.
gyms, like
gyms I've never done this, but there is a gym. I do not belong to it.
Okay.
I'm considering it near me.
Wow.
I really have no excuse because I have like VR workout, weight set, yoga mat in my house. Like, come on, Sarah, you need to join a gym. But sometimes gyms are good. There is a class in that gym that is basically everybody puts on VR headsets. I don't know what they are. I'm going to assume they're Quests.
Yeah,
maybe proprietary, probably Quests, and go through a workout together. I think you'll see a lot more of that, especially in areas where it's like, the instructor, whether it's a virtual or an in-person instructor, might have a really great workout scenario. Maybe the room isn't all that great. Maybe that you kind of have to suspend a little disbelief, which is why you put on a headset. You could be wherever you want. You could be in Hawaii. You could be on a cliff. You could be in the middle of a lake. You can do all that stuff easily.
Exactly. What if we take it even a step further? Like, what if you could get your eye exams done at home, but you just use the headsets instead of going in? Like, at some point, like, I'm talking about technology being advanced enough that they do all the things that you would have to do at a doctor's office, like I don't know, the air, the things that just reading your eyes,
stuff. Yeah.
Like, that would be very cool, and just put that on and then just talk virtually to someone, or then you could pick your doctor. That would be like, what if the doctor lives in the one that you really want to go to lives in Idaho, and like, I don't live in Idaho, I live in California, but you could communicate and have I don't know, like the expertise of that person could be the person, which there's nothing to like, obviously human to human interaction is the best, but in cases where there's mobility issues or just distance, that could, it could be interesting to see if something like that could work, in the future.
It's funny that you mentioned this, Eileen, because I'm in a sort of a pickle. I mean, it's solvable, but it's just sort of bureaucratic nonsense where my medical insurance, which I used quite a bit of over the last few years, is the same company as my insurance now, but because I moved from Northern to Southern California, they're kind of different entities.
Okay.
And when I went to I need a new oncologist, obviously, because I can't go to Santa Rosa, which is now quite far from me, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
My insurance company was like, okay, well, you're going to have to, here's some paperwork to fill out to prove that you live where you live, yada, yada, yada. Annoying. But I spend quite a bit of time doing what I can on my health insurance's website, which is, a whole big portal, that you can kind of do everything there, except tell people where you live so that you can get a new doctor. That obviously requires more work. But the idea that, an Apple Vision Pro has already been touted in, some surgery scenarios as being super helpful to surgeons. Something like this, just being sort of like, again, to use that word portal, like a portal to that thing. I could put this on, and like you said, eye exams. We're not there yet, but I mean, we also used to not be in a place where we could take our own blood pressure and send that information to a doctor. You know, it's getting better in the health realm all the time. And I think that this is a very interesting way to bridge that gap. You know, you can go into a hospital, you know, ERs aren't going away, but there are a lot of things and data that can be jotted down by a headset. The Vision Pro, I think, being the leader in this space right now. I mean, I can't think of anything that's better than this, you know, if you're not in person. And then let's start talking about what the future of healthcare looks like.
Right. More accessible.
Indeed.
And then, you know, and of course what everybody wants, more affordable. So I don't know. I see, you know, this is really big news. And once again, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about, you know, the Vision Pro going to China and what kinds of innovations they'll have with the Vision Pro. And now we're talking about, you know, whole other game of, you know, opening up to other companies and partners that they're, you know, their product teams, you know, their teams in general, you know, they'll be thinking about other ways that haven't been used before, you know, with these headsets. I hope, and you know, it just advances the I don't know, the promise of this new technology, I guess.
Well, speaking of promising things, we did promise the other week to do a little bit more of a deep dive on the Spigen Glaston pouch. This is a carrying case for your Vision Pro, if you happen to have one, that rivals what comes with the Apple Vision Pro itself, its own travel case, which is $200. Now, I'm holding this up. Audio people, use your imagination. You've probably seen this at least in you know, some videos of the Vision Pro, but the Apple Vision Pro pouch, it's nice. It's pillow-esque. It's also white. The first thing I thought, it has some Vision Pro, you know, marketing material on it. The first thing I thought when I went to the Apple store to pick this up, actually, no, I went to the Apple store to unbrick my Vision Pro.
Yes.
This was something that I got from Tom and Eileen's house because you guys had it first. First thing I thought was, it's going to get dirty. Because you assume that if you're using this, you're going somewhere. You know, whether you're putting it in like a tote bag for the day or in a suitcase if you're traveling or in a trunk of your car or whatever, it's going to get dirty. And it has the feeling of a pillow without a pillowcase. You know, like it's like, cover that thing. Cover it at all costs. Like that was my first reaction. Like, oh, I don't want to take it out. You know, it's almost like the way that, I don't know, like our cords, you know, if you've got black cords, like who cares? But if you have like white cords around the house, they just get dingy. That's just, you know, that's how it goes. So do white t-shirts. Okay. So that was always the feeling I had about this. But again, $200. This is a nice carrying case. You've got, you know, all sorts of nooks and crannies designed to hold the Vision Pro, to, you know, a little baggie to, you know, put various cords inside, various Vision Pro headwear, some Velcro stuff to just kind of keep ports and the like out of the way. Has a nice zipper. This is nice. This is nice. Now, again, I say this and I'm terrified to take it outside. Why? Because it's white and it's pillowy. It's a pillow without a pillowcase and it makes me crazy. Okay. So now
insert.
Let's look at the Spigen Glaston pouch. Okay. So this is $90 as compared to the $200 at Apple's own case. And I gotta say, Eileen, I know you've looked at this, but I'm looking at it now, and the number one thing is that the outer shell is hard. It's like a hard suitcase versus a fabric soft suitcase. Now, if you're not toting around breakable, flammable item type thing, like, you don't really care. But when you're touting around the Vision Pro, you do. I think that really matters. Now, first reaction is like, okay, so we've got some, some nice areas to put in, tuck away some cords and ports and that sort of thing. You've got a little zipper pouch for other stuff. This is pretty large area before you even get to the meats and potatoes. But when you do, which is under a kind of a velvety little cushion, you've got an area for the Vision Pro itself. Now, what you have to do is take the back part off of the Vision Pro in order to fit it. To get the you gotta take these guys off, which is easy. But just something to think about. You gotta do a little disassembly. So Vision Pro goes into the little pocket, and then everything else kind of goes around the outside. Actually, now that I say that, strike that and reverse it. The Vision Pro itself goes into the outer area, and all the goodies go into the inside.
Yeah.
I was thinking the opposite. This actually makes a lot more sense. What is nice about this is, well, okay, a few things. First of all, price point.
Yes. 100%.
You want to pay $200 when you can pay $90 for something better? I don't. Okay. Second thing, it is just sturdier. Definitely just something that I would freak out about way less in transit. And third, just the color is better. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The pillowcase white Apple thing, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't.
And there's no other option for Apple, right? So the Clasdon pouch for, I don't know if you mentioned it, it's gray. So
it is. Yeah. It's not a dark heather gray. Yeah. It's nice. It's really nice.
So the Apple, I'm just looking, but I don't think there's another color for that case. And so
no, there isn't. No.
It's like, why did you only give us white? Like, just because it's going to match the device, I guess. But
I mean, listen, this is, and again, for audio folks, I'm holding this up by my head. Like, this is, it's nice. I'm holding the Apple Travel Vision Pro travel case up. It is nice. It's pillowy. You could darn near use it as a pillow. I could, actually, if I was on a train or something. But again, just now I put my face up to it and I'm like, oh, a little bit of makeup.
Yeah.
This is not long for this world. Okay. No. You can't do pillows without pillowcases in white and expect things to last forever. Okay. So I don't know.
So
and the last thing that Apple wants is people being like, "Oh, yeah, dingy old Apple Vision Pro."
Right?
Like, no, that's not what they're going for. Why not make it black or gray?
Yeah, why not give a design that will not get mucky and dirty? So and also based on touching the Clasdon pouch from. It just feels, it matches the premium tone of the device,
no, it's nice.
A lot
it's
more.
Really nice.
I mean, and so I don't know if you have a Vision Pro, this definitely might be one, to look at for portability if you are, on the go quite a bit. So
yeah. And, just to, before, we wrap up, the hardware section of the show. Just now that I have everything in there and all, kind of tidy and wrapped up, this is, it's a cute little purse, to be honest.
It is, right? Yeah. It's actually very stylish.
It is.
It doesn't look like a messy blob of white.
It doesn't. And you could how people do with their laptops, like you could get creative, totally. Like put a sticker, something on there. You could, this is like a carrying tote, but you could definitely use a longer strap and have it be like a crossbody type thing. It would be kind of big, but still definitely doable. I like this. I also There's something about being a little bit more, I mean, you're probably not fooling anybody. If you if you're out and about with something like this, somebody in the know is going to be like, there's a Vision Pro in there.
Right.
But if you've got the Apple Vision Pro case, they
definitely know.
And I've felt a little weird in the past being out and about with that simply because it's just an expensive item, you know?
Yeah.
It's like having an expensive Rolex. You know, you're like, I'm sort of flexing, but I'm sort of afraid.
Well, you talk about,
going to take this from me.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about walking out with it too. And I know that you have to have, what's the thing? You have to have it attached, but like somebody can snatch it off your head, you know, and like run like a purse. Right. So it's not that,
you know, that can happen with anything.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
So if you're not in the know, you know, I think a lot of people look at this Spigen Glasden pouch and people might think it's just your purse, Sarah. Like they it just looks, there's so many like shapes and sizes of purses out there. They may not know that this is, you know, the Vision Pro.
Well, and even though I hadn't really thought about this until right this second, this could be a cool purse. Yeah. Let's just say, for whatever reason, don't need to take the Pro with me. I could use this for like all sorts of things. This could be like, if I, you know, reinvent myself as a makeup artist, great place to start.
I was about to say makeup. You could totally go in there.
Or just, I don't know, just anything that, you know, you care about that needs to be transported in sort of a hard shell type thing that isn't like a carry-on size, you know, piece of luggage.
Absolutely. So thank you, Spigen, for the unit, and good job with the product. It's a solid product.
Thumbs up from me. I don't know if we should have a review system. It's like, if we're talking like 5 stars, I say 4 out of 5. I don't even really know what I would dock it for, but you know, 5 seems egregious. So
yeah. Like you got to be like so good to get the 5 from us, right? Like, you gotta be like,
if this also printed money, I give it a 5.
Saving lives, printed money, you get the 5.
Eileen's like, maybe it should save lives. I'm like, no, it should print me dollars.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay. So that concludes the hardware review portion of episode 12 of Apple Vision Show. This was awesome. I really do. I think this is just one third-party accessory that makes a lot of sense monetarily, but also lifestyle-wise. And if anyone out there, because I know there are others, have reviewed anything similar to this, something you think is better, do let us know. Feedback at applevisionshow.com.
Should we take a quick break?
Let's do it.
All right. All right. Let's see here. Were you gonna talk more about the Pro and like, I mean, you've talked a lot about it today already, but would you still want to talk about how you've been living with it? Your update.
I do. Hold on. Now that I've packed the whole darn thing up, I forget the name of the app that I was playing with earlier. Again, even though I looked right before the show.
We're going into February, March, 3 months with the Vision Pro.
I know. Cray.
And, you know, it's sort of like where it's like it's a check-in, right? It's the Vision Pro check-in. Like, where are you at with it since it's been, you know, what are other discoveries? I mean, not a lot of people are talking about it these days, whatever. And it's been so long since we've seen Sarah wear the unit. And so if you're watching the video unit, I'm so excited.
Well, I'm struggling a little bit because I wonder can I do both of these at the same time? Hold on a second.
All right. No problem. Let's see how this goes. Boom. Oops. There goes the mic.
Mic's back. But am I? Come on, Vision Pro. Look alive. Oh, man. Did I run out of batteries? I might have. Oh, I know. Duh. I ran out of batteries because I'm not connected to my battery.
Oh yeah, you took it off because you had to put it in the
because
pouch.
I was packing up. Let's see if I can do this.
This is an interesting,
kind of an interesting experiment. Not everyone will need to be wearing podcasting headphones at the same time as wearing the Vision Pro.
There we go.
But let's see where we land here. Okay, I think I'm in. Wake up, Apple. Yep.
The audio people will never know that this happened.
It's riveting information, everybody. Oh, you know what? I have to look at it.
Oh, you can't just turn it on. Okay, so there's the thing. You can't just like turn it on, you know? So Sarah's trying to, I don't know. I don't know if I'll keep this in the audio second part of the show. I might just take this part out. It'll be easier. But we're trying to turn on the Vision Pro, and there could be some charging issues.
Well, Eileen,
is it charged?
As usual, I could have thought about this sooner. It appears that my Vision Pro is out of batteries. I'm just going to say this right now. The battery situation is abysmal. It really is.
Oh, okay. There's your update.
Yeah. Okay. So here's your update. When it's fully charged, which I actually... Oh, look at you waking up now. Took you a second, didn't you?
It's listening. The Siri in there is listening. It's like saying, no, lady.
I'm still a Vision Pro. When I woke up this morning, I was like, oh yeah, I want to, play around a little bit. And it hadn't been charging overnight. So I was like, oh, I'll charge it. Yeah. Took the dog on a walk, whatever. Like, didn't need to even access anything for like a solid hour. And then it was sort of like, yeah, okay, we're good. And then once I put it on, and this is well before we started our show, it was like, I got like a, 17%, you got to plug it in, battery life, where I was like, I was charging it like not all morning, but like enough so that you feel like you could get some things done before it was, depleted again.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be at 80 at this point, right? Like,
right. I think that if you are, again, going back to like the productivity thing, if you're kind of like, I'm using the Vision Pro in a certain situation for work, if you're a medical professional, as we talked about earlier, or, for whatever reason, you're not too far away from a charge, not a huge deal. Yeah. It's a little cumbersome, but not a huge deal. But when you go out and about, and, we all have these problems and have had these problems over the years with, our smartphones, our laptops, various charging devices. If you go too far without, a charge, then all these things are rendered useless. They're only helpful as long as they have a charge, whether you're plugged into something or you have enough battery. So that's something to consider. I think that the Vision Pro needing to be connected to the battery pack, on the surface is already like, who wants that?
Yeah.
Not me, but I also don't think it's that big a deal because I'm not running around with it all that much.
Yeah,
if
you're at home.
If the Quest had to be tethered, or otherwise I had to have a battery pack, I'd be like, I'm not working out with this thing. I don't want, you got to put something else on your fanny pack. Like, no way, no thanks. Yeah. But again, I will continue to say this: they're just different devices. This is not supposed to be some like fun little toy that you just sort of run around with. It's in Apple's, best scenario, it's going to, change the future of all sorts of,
like businesses and industries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Industries, really. Mm-hmm. So there we are. Okay. I'm going to try to do this again now that it's woken
okay.
up.
All right. So so basically, yet again, like first gen devices, the battery, like it's almost always the battery for a first gen device. It feels like. All right. So Sarah's got the headset on again, and we are looking for an app, I believe.
We are.
As part of this update. And, just talking to the chat room out there, are you guys still interested in the Vision Pro at all? Or is this sort of a, dun, 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 feel like we know it all kind of thing? Or are you guys still interested in finding out more about it? Interested in the device in general and what it could do?
This, I feel crazy. Oh my God.
And Sarah's still trying to turn it on.
No, it's on. It's on. It's on. I'm using the Vision Pro and also, the rest of the things that I use for the show, which I know makes me look and sound probably crazy. But I do want to say, so in the Vision OS App Store, there are a variety of apps that you can download, like any app store. Some of them cost money, some of them are free. So I just decided to just get creative and, go with one of the free options. And that option is called Beautiful Things 3D Palette. The tagline is surround yourself with beauty. So I was like, ooh, maybe this is makeup. It wasn't. No, it wasn't. If I could open it, that would be great. Open. See, this is another thing that people complain about with the Vision Pro is you do a lot of tap to open, and depending on your VR environment, and in the Vision Pro's defense, it is looking at a ring light, several other lights, weird microphone, large monitor. I mean, it's sort of but I also think this is what it's designed for, right?
Right.
It's kind of supposed to do all this stuff. So if I try to open this, apparently I can't. Move back. You're too close to an object. Haven't seen that one before. I don't know, Eileen. We might be getting to our first absolute Vision Pro fail.
Oh my God.
What is happening here? I'm disappointed because I wanted to show you guys. Well, this would be something I'd have to show you later. Yeah. But, okay. So let me just describe, Beautiful Things, because, I don't know, I can't open this right now. The idea is to show a variety of things like the Star Wars Death Star in 3D. And be able to kind of, move it around, check it out, see where people enter type thing, designed to scale. There's a vehicle category. There's a home category, which is sort of interesting types of furniture. There is a pizza category. If you really want, yeah, seriously.
To see pizza, different kinds of pizza?
Yeah. And you can just look at it in great detail. There's, some nature categories where you can look at a fish or a turtle or a butterfly, or even a plate of sushi in 3D. Now you might say, well, that's sort of dumb. Why do I care about any of that stuff? Well, one of the things that I liked the most was looking at this old Hasselblad 503 CX camera, which is, a retro, but cool type of camera, like a piece of technology that I might buy where I'm not holding it in my hand, but I'm getting close. I'm getting close. This is different than looking at, images on Amazon type thing.
Right. Yeah.
And even sort of a lot of the sites now have 3D, you can, scroll back and forth and get a sense of what something looks like three-dimensionally. This actually is. And it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. A lot of the stuff that's on offer here is just for kicks. Do you really want to look at an Oscar, as in an Academy Award physical Oscar statue? Like,
wow.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Do you not? Like, but it's like, here it is. Instead of looking at a photo of it, it's something where you get a sense of scale, and there's a lot of that stuff. So anyway, this is, again, Eileen, kind of silly. I am trying my very best to try to use the Vision Pro for something that is more than just like laying on my back on the couch watching a movie, which is fine. I mean, that's great.
Yes.
But you can kind of do that a variety of ways.
Yes, people can do that. It's not the thing that's like, oh, I can't do that. I wish I could. Right?
Exactly. So, so that's something that's been fun that I've been playing around with. There are a variety of, persona improvements that the Vision Pro has made where, people say, if you're going to be in a meeting, for example, with somebody else, it is less weird, even though they don't have legs. But just more realistic. That I have yet to play around with. And quite honestly, it's because I don't know enough people who have the Vision Pro that want to hang out with me IRL. Right. IRL being within, our Vision Pro space. I'm going to go ahead and take this off now because I feel crazy. But yeah, that is just, it is just the way it is. There is, I meant to mention this. There are a few apps that are designed to, in that whole sort of like experience of watching something, apps that are designed to showcase a virtual television, a set, some sort of, square object where you watch your content inside of, but you can have any living room you want. So you could be like, maybe it's grandma's living room, from the olden days with like a really old set, on the floor with shag carpet. Do you want that? Maybe not. But if you don't, you could like be watching TV in space because, imagine again, this is so immersive that it can really wrap all the way around, but you could also have a designed, television set that could play TV shows and movies within something else that just feels good. Maybe you're, on Mars. Maybe you're, in the middle of a lake. Mars, lake. What are my other things? Ocean, Hawaii.
I think I'd like to be on one of those high rises during sunset, like it's my own like apartment in this fancy high rise with beautiful like windows that look out on like the bay and the water, that would be kind of cool and calming.
Yeah, like it's just like whatever it ends up being, you have so many options of that kind of thing. And I feel like that's almost like a little bit of like a sort of like a, I like to call them like hopscotch hacks because like it's not really a hack. It's just like a mood, but it's a mood. And that's fun.
Adam Crawford in our chat says, can you bring up a Safari browser while watching TV, split screen?
Yeah, you can.
I believe you can. I believe you can.
You can.
And you can have multiple windows open at the same time.
You can. That's the whole productivity thing is like, how much do people do that in their, existing kind of workplace scenarios? Your mileage may vary, but if you are a multiple window, and, productivity first kind of person, this can be used that way. A lot of the pinch to enact stuff on the Vision Pro, I have a hard time with, and maybe it's just because I'm not used to it yet. But it definitely is a bit of a learning curve. It is.
Yeah. It's just a new experience that we don't, most people don't have access to. And so, and also, as I'm hearing you describe it, you're looking for you're still discovering the device. So you're still in that, like, how else, what is another benefit for me, besides, the entertainment part? Like, what else can I do on this device?
Right. It's like entertainment all day, well, not all day because I have to work, but they've got me there. That's a lock.
Yeah.
But that is not, if someone said, "Hey, Sarah, I heard you have the Vision Pro. What's the best killer app?" I'm like, watching Netflix. They'd be like, what?
Really?
It's like, that's not going to sell a lot of units. It's a cool feature, but it's not really the point.
Right.
And I think Apple still, it has its work cut out for it to convince folks, outside of the medical field, to build these apps where, people like us will then say, "Oh, I can't live without this."
Yeah.
Now.
It's the long play, or as some people who are more negative would say, the long con.
The long con. Con play.
Con play. So, you got to be real patient. Yeah, be patient. And something will happen. You don't really need it now, but, we'll just see how these innovations, proceed, I guess.
Well, real quick, Eileen, as we come to the end of episode 12, real quick shout out to Apple Play. Pay, rather.
Oh,
Apple Play.
Apple Play. I thought you said didn't play games.
Apple Play, I just invented. Although maybe that's a Game Center thing. No, Apple Pay. Yeah. Okay, so it is very rare, very, very rare that I'm outside of my house without my phone. Right. In fact, when I first got my Apple Watch, I paid for cell service thinking, oh, cool. So maybe I could just kind of, if somebody called me or I had to do, something that was pressing, I could do it on my watch rather than have my phone with me every time I take my dog out for a walk. It became clear pretty soon that I needed the phone to do anything of significance. The Apple Watch is good for real simple relays, or a really simple, oh, Eileen texted me. It's kind of a long text, but I get the gist kind of thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So cell service for some people makes sense. For me, it did not. It didn't make, I think it was another $10 per month on my Verizon account. Okay. So I didn't stick with it. But that said, every so often I find myself outside, usually walking the dog, maybe late at night or, kind of first thing in the morning, where my head isn't on straight, where I don't have my phone with me. And some of those times, I might, walk by the tamale place or be like, oh, I like this place with the coffee. Ah, shoot, I don't have my wallet. Apple Pay is the godsend in my life. I don't use Apple Pay on a regular basis. I could use it at every grocery store I go to. For whatever reason, I just sometimes go back into the, I've got an ATM card and I use that. Yeah. But there are times where I just don't have my purse with me. I do have my phone though. So that is, that's a big part of this. If I had cell service on the watch itself, I wouldn't need my phone at all. But with the two together, there are times, I would say no more than twice a month, but still just times where I'm like, oh man, I want this Gatorade. I don't have cash. Crap. Do you guys take Apple Pay? And they're like, yeah. Everybody does now. And it used to be that nobody, maybe a couple grocery stores did, but you could walk into a mini mart and be like, do you guys take Apple Pay? They'd be like, what's the Apple Pay?
Yeah. Yeah. What
Times
is that?
have changed. Yeah. So I'm just, it is so very much my fallback option. Can't stress enough how much it is just, save my life would be too dramatic, but made things way more convenient. Absolutely. Yes.
Well, I guess Walmart is the only place, one of the bigger establishments that still don't take Apple Pay.
Because they've got their own.
Yeah. But no, Apple Pay is so handy. And I know I've been fortunate to travel and I've noticed that in other places, this has been a thing for a while, and other apps, not, necessarily Apple. And so just the convenience of I hate taking out the credit cards in my wallet. It is so annoying to me. I don't know why. I have everything in my purse. It's all zipped up. But when I'm always holding my phone. I feel naked walking outside without my phone, by the way, which says something about me.
I'm with you. No,
but,
I hear that.
But like knowing that I can just go to the grocery store and use my phone, hopefully it works. The other pinch is like, oh, what if data isn't working and I can't pay and I'm standing here and I don't have my cards, but for the most part, it does work. Like I have this like, not, I don't know, minor anger when I have to pull out my credit card when I'm like, you can't just take my phone? Like, huh? Like that's less and less these days.
Once you get used to that,
yeah,
you're just sort of like, oh, I don't have to like fuss around with all this nonsense.
It's the same thing. And a lot of cards are tap to pay too now. You don't have to insert that. So it's like, why don't you just do the phone technology? I mean, I know that there's like fees and all of that stuff to get it set up, but I am very, very happy that that is a thing and that we are moving towards that because it's just so much easier. 100%.
Me too. I was at Vaughn's, my favorite grocery store in all of the land, yesterday, picking up nothing really, like 2 things. But it was Sunday, kind of midday, busy.
Yeah.
And the like self-checkout line was like way longer than like the line with the cashier. So I was like, I just want to get out of here, So I went to, aisle 3 to go through the cashier. And I was like, do you guys take Apple Pay? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, and I have a Vaughn's card. And she's like, well, you have to swipe that first. And I'm like, can't I like link my Vaughn's and Apple Pay? Wouldn't that make a lot of sense? I think that is the next frontier of all.
100%. That's the next step.
Because I'm like, well, I still have to like dig through and like find my Vaughn's card, which I have,
annoying.
but like I saved like a few dollars, like it was worth it.
Yeah.
But Apple Pay, and like the woman behind me, she was quite a bit older than me. Not that I'm a spring chicken myself, but she was like, "What's that you're doing?" And I said, "Oh, do you have an iPhone?" She goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, you can set up a credit card or a debit card and link that, and then use your phone as the card." And you could see like her eyes. She was
like freaking out.
Really?
Yeah.
I can? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, what's the catch? I'm like, there isn't one. I mean, I guess they're, I don't know. I mean, if you have a concern with your phone getting stolen, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's always a concern with this sort of stuff, but not really. It's more just convenient.
I know it's convenient. And I think, thank God it's here. That's all I'm going to say, Sarah. Thank God it's here.
Thank the Lord above.
I was actually, you were going to shout out Apple Pay, and I was just going to shout out reminders because I need reminders. There are so many to-do reminder. There's calendar apps out there, but you know what I default to? I default to the Apple Reminders app a lot. And I think I've tried so many different to-do apps. And I think at the end of the day, I just looked for convenience. And, as I was trying like 3 different apps at the same time, I'm like, well, now I'm only using reminders, and it helps me with lists. It helps me with, for those of you who buy concert tickets at a certain time, I get I remind myself 10 minutes before that I need to log in, so that I log in and I don't miss the the pre-sale.
Now I'm getting why you like reminders.
I that need makes reminders sense. To push me, and I have long-term reminders. I have, more business focused reminders. I have family focused reminders. I don't have a lot going on right now, but like, it's just, I categorize them. And just the ability to, I have ongoing reminders too. Like, what's one? Oh, Sawyer's pill needs to be every noon, like stuff like that. And so it pops up. I get the notification on my phone and my watch and my iPad, all of it.
This is something that you could add as a calendar item, but it's designed to be just that much easier, right?
I'd like to, talk about siloing, the calendar. Yes, I have a lot of appointments that are on my calendar and I get reminders there, but these are almost like task lists. And I think of using the calendar differently than using reminders. Reminders are things like, go to the freaking laundromat or go to the dry cleaning and get your sweaters clean. Like, do it. Like, oh God, there it is. It's hanging in there. I have like this VIP Fabletics membership, like go in there between the 1st and the 5th of the month and just say no. I don't know why I keep this membership if I never buy anything, but I do. And I have this constant reminder. Like when I have memberships coming up, like, do I want to renew this app? I have a reminder like, 2 weeks out. Do you really still want this? Or are you going to cancel? So stuff like that is I'm using the reminders app for versus the calendar, which for me are more appointments. And, it probably would be more efficient if I connect them, but I don't know. I'm right now I'm siloing those options right now. So,
well, I have to say,
it's working for my brain.
Besides kind of like everyday stuff where it's like, I wake up on Monday morning, for example, like I did this morning. It's like, I know what I have to do. I have particular schedule
Feed
and jobs. Yeah, exactly. But one of the things that I add calendar items for myself that are sort of like willy-nilly are, if I get like 3 months free with a particular app that's going to automatically charge me, after that period is up, I always will be like calendar item, because I just like the day before, maybe I want to pay, but maybe I don't, I want to have the opportunity to not pay anything after, I get through my trial period. I feel like reminders is probably a better way to do that, rather than making my calendar even more insane.
That's what because I don't, when I look at my calendar, I don't want to see more dots of appointments. So that's why I keep it in reminders. It's just my own visual like necessity, I like, okay, I have all my various like doctor's appointments, or we're going to the vet, or we're going to a show, we're going to a restaurant, but all the day-to-day things, And now I'm using it for groceries, although we do also have a groceries app that Tom uses. So it's for my own personal things. You could get really complicated and deep here. So, canceling memberships, I already did this. I canceled my T-Mobile watch, $10, as you were talking about earlier today. I've had that ongoing. I finally canceled it. And then you can give yourself deadlines on here. So I tend to use this quite a bit, and it's not cluttered with other things. It's just the things that need to get done or future long-term things. It just seems to be, for me, it comes in handy and it's simple, and they're color coded, if you need that. And, and I love the notifications. It works because it does work across devices. All I get, like, seriously, the notification is on my watch, it's on my iPad, it's on my phone, it's on my laptop. I'm like, got it. Sawyer's pill. Okay. I'm going. Like, sometimes I need that. I do need the like multiple reminders. So
Well, I think it's Apple is good at this. Like, you've got Text Edit, which I still use for a variety of things on Mac OS. Just sort of like bare bones, Word alternative, put text down in a, save it, call it something. But then Notes came around where it's like sometimes Text Edit still works better, but Notes is better for a variety of things where I used to just like be like, just open a blank slate. I need to type text on a screen and save it.
Yeah. Yep.
And reminders and, the calendar option, I feel like, are similar but different. If you want to use reminders the way it's intended, it is actually a better way to remind yourself of something rather than put it on a calendar and then get a notification from the calendar.
Right. I just feel like the reminders.
It's like having a shopping app rather, the grocery app, like you were talking about, rather than like putting it all in notes. That does work. But what if something was specifically for going shopping? Exactly. Almost that much better.
Exactly. The calendar is a lot more weighted in my opinion of like, these appointments need to happen. Whereas it could be a little bit more flexible in reminders. Like, if I forget to go to the dry cleaners, it's not the end of the world. But if I forget to go to my doctor's office, not okay.
Bad news. Yeah. Right.
Like I missed that appointment. Oh no, I might have to schedule 2 weeks later because she's busy. So I don't know. That's just a tip that I need in my life in order to, get things done. But, people of it's either the a la carte or the all in one. So it's up to you and what best works for you.
Indeed. And if you have something that works well for you or doesn't, we'll take both. Do send us feedback. Feedback at applevisionshow.com, where you can help us make our show better. Tips, tricks, what you like, what you don't like, what your new apps you're hanging out with. We'll take them. Let us know. Feedback at applevisionshow.com. We also have an Instagram and TikTok account at Apple Vision Show on both. That's a kudos to Eileen on that. You are so much better at social than I am, Eileen. But it takes a village.
Well, we don't know how longer we'll have the TikTok app, but we'll move to
right. I know. VPN. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, whatever. We'll figure it all out. Who cares?
But everybody, we're going to go ahead and wrap up episode 12 of Apple Vision Show. Thanks so much for being with us. Special thanks to all of you who joined us live along for the ride. We are on demand, of course, but we do record the show live right after Daily Tech News Show, which is on Mondays at about 2 p.m. Pacific time. So join us if you can. In any case, we'll be back again next week. I guess the answer was no.
I don't even know what you were going to ask. That's hilarious.
Sometimes when I'm wrapping up shows, I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay,
Goodbye,
bye,
everybody. See you later. If you're hanging on this long, you really should go. Do your thing.
Oh boy.
Anyway.
Sorry about that. I heard the tone of your voice and was like, well, there it is.
I'm like, any parting words? I think, well, I guess not.
Okay, no parting words.
Play them off, keyboard cat.
I know. Amos is like, I was gonna say goodbye, but whatever. They
fine.
know.
Yeah,
By then they know we want to say goodbye, and they should say goodbye. Whoever's listening all the way to the end, and everybody in the chat, we get a few seconds to say bye for real, and then move on. But anyway, oh my, it was a good demo, Sarah. It was a good demo. So
good.
Yeah.
Good. I know it's always sort of hard to do that. When the majority of people can't see you, but I tried to, think about.
I might cut around the turning on the Apple Vision Pro quite a bit, so I don't know how much I'll keep that in the audio.
For that.
Just because visually it's fun to watch, but audio wise, will be like, why is no one talking?
No, totally, yeah.
So that,
I didn't want to go on and on about and this other thing sucks. This guy really sometimes just, you press all the right buttons and it's like,
ta-da. Oh,
and then 20 seconds later, it's like, okay.
Oh, it's
but
like
at that point, you're
man.
you've already plugged it in, you're thinking that it has no battery. It's, it could be a little quicker on the uptake.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm always just worried that it doesn't have enough battery, because it often does not.
So I have three things real quick. Apple Pay. why can't I customize a name for each of the cards? Because I have 2 cards from USAA and they both look identical except for the last 4 numbers, and I'm not trying to remember the last 4 numbers of every card.
It doesn't let you do nicknames?
No nicknames. You can't change the picture. It's whatever the bank assigned it. That's like my big frustration with that.
Okay.
The Apple Watch, I pay for the service. I did it because when I was working at Lowe's, I didn't want to carry my phone inside because I didn't want it to break. Now it finds more utility in the fact that I'm usually playing music from my phone in the car, and I run into the store real quick, come back out, and I don't want to take my phone with me because there's other people in the car waiting for me to come back out. I can do that and not worry about it because I have my watch with the cell service. Also, I get phone anxiety, so if I didn't have the cell service on my watch, I would leave the house, and every time I'd be panicked about it. But right now, I can just look down at my wrist and boom, even if I don't have my phone, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then Walmart, if you sign up for Walmart.com, you build an account and you put a card in there, it'll actually look back at your history of what you've used that card for to buy in store and have those items available as your previous purchases. I don't know how far back it goes, but I know it goes back at least like a couple months. And then if you go in the store, you buy it with that card and it automatically remembers that for your account online. You don't have to put in like loyalty things or scan anything. It just knows that card belongs to you and those are your purchases. It's kind of creepy, but very useful. So.
I was just thinking about, like you said, it remembers what you bought, and that the only thing that I've seen is Amazon doing the same thing, where it's like, these are things you've bought before. Would you like to buy them again? Yeah. You know, if they're not subscribe and save, they're like just items. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
You were looking at this recently.
A big thing about Walmart is as soon as you log in, it's like, would you like to repurchase items you've already purchased? Which is really great for me because I typically buy a lot of the same stuff.
The same stuff, yeah. So now you don't have to look it up.
I mean, since we're talking about subscribe and save, it's my favorite thing ever.
I love subscribe and save.
I'm not Amazon's like biggest cheerleader, but there are just ways that Amazon is more convenient than other options. And subscribe and save, I love, like, a couple days before they're like, okay, we're going to ship your subscribe and save for April.
Yeah.
Take a look, where I'm like, oh crap, no, I actually don't need paper towels. I said every 3 months, but it should probably be every 4, and I can, just do a little futzing. And then the stuff that gets delivered, like makeup wipes and, hand sanitizer and just, I don't know, stuff that I do get regularly still works. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I found that during the pandemic, if you had, we used to have 9 people living in the house and only 2 of us were men. So therefore we went through toilet paper like nobody's business. We had it on subscribe and save, and we were still getting our toilet paper even when the local stores were out and people were complaining they couldn't buy it anywhere. We were still getting it from Amazon, even though it said out of stock on Amazon. So they were prioritizing their
subscribe and save.
Subscribe and saves. So I still haven't bought,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like you've already deemed yourself somebody that's going to be paying,
right?
Yeah.
Into the future, and you get a discount anyway. It's just great for things that, I mean, gosh, I can't tell you how many times I'm like, I'm out of paper towels. I'll just go to the corner store and buy like 2 rolls of paper towels, and then you're out really soon. Again, like, no, we're not doing that anymore.
It worked out really well for us because we were going through a 36 pack of toilet paper once a month because we had so many people.
Like clockwork, yeah.
It was like we'd have like 2 rolls left, and we'd get our Amazon delivery. The problem is that people started moving out of the house. My sister-in-law and my niece moved out, and then the twins moved out because they went to college, and like then my wife, a year later, my wife moved out. We never stopped our subscribe and save until like 6 months ago.
Do you have a lot of toilet paper?
So much toilet paper. Because last year it was just me and my son, so we weren't using that much toilet paper.
It's better than the alternative.
Yeah, and now it's just me and my daughter, so we're still not using a lot. And I have so much toilet paper stocked up. Like we're not gonna need it for a couple of years. It's ridiculous.
That's great. No. It's funny. I in my house, in my apartment that I live in now, I just like, there's like a linen closet in the hallway that is great for whatever. But one of the drawers that you pull out, I just deemed like that's where toilet paper goes, until you need it in the actual bathroom. But like, I didn't tell anybody that.
Oh,
just sort of, I live here alone. And a couple times now, someone's been like, do you have toilet paper? And I'm like, do I? Linen closet, second drawer down, where they're like, wow, you have like 13 rolls of toilet paper in here. Like, what's happening, sir? And I'm like, I mean, aren't you glad?
Yeah.
So much better than being like, yeah, sorry, you got the last of it.
I've told this before, but my sister-in-law worked at Walmart right up the road. So she'd work on Thanksgiving Day and she'd get her extra 15%. So we were going in there and you get one purchase, however many items you get one purchase with 25% off. And we would do our annual stock up. So ladies' hygiene products, shampoo, conditioner, soap, all that kind of stuff, we would stock up on that and we wouldn't have to buy any for the rest of the year. Well, the last time we knew she was quitting on New Year's Day, so we went and got extra. I'm just now having to buy body shampoo or body soap and shampoo. I had to get toothpaste like last week. I was like, why am I buying toothpaste? Like we finally ran out of toothpaste.
Wow.
And it's been 3 years since
long enough to forget that you have to buy these things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Clorox wipes and makeup wipes, all that stuff. I've got so much of that stuff. It's all in the same closet where the toilet paper is, but they've still got toilet paper stacked up to the ceiling on the shelf. Yeah, it's kind of. I should probably take a picture and show it because it's ridiculous in there.
Please do. All right. Hilarious. Well, listen, all y'all live viewers and listeners, we're going to go ahead and peace on out. But thank you for being with us. Episode 12. Really fun. What will we do next, Eileen?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
You'll know in 7 days.
Bye, y'all.
Well, let us know what you want to hear.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Bye.
See you later.